Morning folks, 9:30 in the morning, 18th of April. I'm going to be doing a set of videos now over the coming 4 or 5 days, or 3 or 4 days, on the big picture as it is in the heavens at this time. Looking at this in summary of recent years, leading us to where we are now, because I truly believe after all the years I've been studying astrology that this year, 2013, is particularly perhaps the most critical year so far in human history, and the developments of the coming months are going to change the world in ways that are currently unforeseeable. So what I'm going to try and do from an astrological perspective is over the coming few days paint the big background picture, and in the context of that I want to look at the biggest picture of all, the ongoing current sextile in the skies between Pluto and Neptune. Almost everyone alive has this in their horoscope. Most astrologers gloss over it, go, oh, it's generational. And yes, Neptune and Pluto have been sextile in the sky, despite their distances apart, over the last 50, 60, 70 years. Yeah, it's well, at least 50 years. So everyone's got it. Even the kids being born now have got it in their chart. Pluto deals with transformation, rebirth, as well as the intensity and compulsion and psychological. Neptune deals with yes, confusion and gullibility, as well as the more nebulous sides of life, but it also deals with spirituality and consciousness, as well as dream and vision. The subliminal and neurotic with Neptune, the psychological and transformative with Pluto. And the fact that these two planets have been in such healthy aspects to each other just in the last half century or so, for the first time in first time since we've known of the existence of these planets, and so it's affected our consciousness, and it's the first time for a long time, hundreds and hundreds if not thousands of years, that these two planets have remained in this degree of opportunistic aspect. And over the last 50 years, to summarize that sextile, it would be saying that the opportunity that the sextile brings for transformation and regeneration from Pluto to the more spiritual and compassionate of Neptune is an ongoing feature of human evolution. Taken in the reverse way, it's also appropriate to say that the opportunity of the sextile for the more sensitive and intuitive sides of Neptune to bring an influence onto the more transformative urge of Pluto is creating a much deeper and much more self-aware desire for transformation within society. Right, demonstration time. That represents the orbit of Neptune. It is a circular orbit every 168 years. That represents the orbit of Pluto, which is a pear-shaped orbit around the Sun every 248 years. Put them on top of each other, viewed from the Sun at my perspective, right? You've got that type of pattern, where most of the time Pluto's orbit is outside of Neptune's, but because it's a pear shape, when Pluto is closest to the Sun, it comes within the orbit of Neptune, as symbolised by that little sliver of orange at the bottom. This happened over the last 10 years of last century and the first couple of years of this, when Pluto was actually inside the orbit of Neptune, just for a decade or so, and the ideas of transformation came within the boundaries of the imagination. The Neptune-Pluto sextile is creating an extremely fertile dynamic in the long-term human evolutionary pattern. It's making humanity much more aware of A, their own psychological perspective, and B, their own capacity for both intuition and compassion. And at this time, with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, transforming, regenerating and rebirthing our attitude towards global governance, whether it be economic, financial, military, political or whatever, and Neptune in its own sign of Pisces bringing a much greater flood of empathy and intuitiveness and compassion into the world, suggests to me that we are in the inevitable process of a meltdown of old rigid structures, the dissolving of the old, and the emerging of a future society based on structures concerning nurturing care, intuition, and care for the community. And I don't just mean humans. I mean animals, nature. The holistic revolution, despite superficial appearances, is underway and will continue. There you go, folks. There's the Neptune-Pluto sextile, the main, big, long lifetime background indicator at the moment. Next, I'll have a look at the current Uranus-Pluto square.